Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dog Days Open 2023. This footage brought to you by William Pochop and Modern Woodmen for your financial needs. If you want to buy more discs and you want to make sure you can do that for a while, hit them up. We're going to start right in on hole 10, par 3, 236 feet. This hole playing pretty easy, a half a stroke over par 2.5 average. We've got this OB line here right around the basket, so kind of playing a little bit like an island hole, but only in the theoretical sense. Jacob opening us up with the simple backhand hyzer, should be in a fine spot. We have Joseph Logue, a lefty here, so he's going to opt for this forehand. And that's fading in pretty early. He is going to be in the thick of it. And these trees and bushes and shrubbery and whatever else you want to call it, this is very thick. If you get in there, you basically are hoping you've got a place to pitch out. Here we have Edgar opting for this nice hyzer line, and that should be parked under the basket. Here we've got Ryan. Nice line, unfortunately catching some of that early branches there and getting kicked down. He shouldn't have a super difficult up and down, but for as easy as this hole is playing, you're really losing a stroke if you don't get it. Kyle making a great correction from the first Dog Days Open. Here we see Ryan's got basically a lean out to try and get around. Kind of flexes this one a little too far, but he should have a good look at the basket. And here we see Joseph with almost nothing. And he basically just made it to the edge of the woods. Yeah, right here. Still has to lean out and around because it is just so thick that even that much is too much. Good 3 save though. And there is some barbed wire over there by that ditch, so Ryan is taking his 2-meter relief. Taps in the 3. Edgar for his 2. Kyle for his birdie as well. Ooh, a little high, but still goes in. And Jacob with the park job to round it out. And here we get to hole 11, par 3, 387 feet. This one a mash for our players. We have this OB ditch here to the left and the OB parking lot kind of tapering in towards the basket, so the closer you get to the basket, the more accurate you are required to be. So Jacob Henson to open us up. Playing this one really wide. Getting saved from the OB by that tree there, so he will have probably 100 or so feet to get to the basket. Here we've got Edgar. Nice little hyzer flip line here. Coming up a little bit short of the basket. He's probably got a 30-footer or so, and with the being uphill as he is putting downhill to that basket, it's going to be a little scary with that OB line. Here we've got Kyle. Putting almost looked sort of like a flex line out of his hand. That should be a great spot, probably 20 feet, 25 maybe. But again, downhill death putt. Joseph trying to feel the wind, see what it's doing. I believe this is his Cervini that he's throwing here. Opting for this huge turnover. And my goodness, what a shot. Wow, that is like 15, 17 feet, somewhere around there. Ryan playing this more straight shot. Oh, turning over way too much. Oh, going over the roadblock there, whatever. I don't know what those are called, but going over that anyway, in and up OB. Jacob Henson, nice approach shot there, right into the basket. Edgar giving that a bit of a run. He'll also be underneath the basket. Ryan trying to save his par, curling up. No harm, no foul. Had an easy bogey from there. Kyle for the 2. From the distance, he's got it. Excellent 2 on this hole. This hole playing almost par, but 0.06 over par. And very unfortunate miss for Joseph there. That was very weird. Having some commitment issues for that. Edgar cleaning up the 3. And Jacob just landing right in front of this tree. Thankfully able to mark it to get the distance. Tap in the 3. Ryan for his bogey. Cleaning that one up, and unfortunately Joseph to finish us out with the tap-in par from the excellent drive. Which leads us to hole 12. Par 4, 673 feet. Hole 12 playing almost a quarter of a stroke under par at a 3.84, so not a gimme, but definitely one you want to be getting. We have this OB ditch here to the right. You're throwing over the OB from the tee. So really you just want to get about 300, 400 feet down the fairway and a little to the left. Give yourself a nice easy up and down. Kyle showing us how it's done. Nice easy hyzer for him. Now the further down you get and the closer you get to that OB, the easier your approach is, I feel. It opens up the hyzer, because if you're just right up against the OB, you just have a simple backhand hyzer for a right-handed player. Ooh, Henson playing with that OB. Ooh, that was close. That OB is those bushes in that OB are very tall and will catch your disc. So that was flirting with disaster right there. But he should have a very good up and down from what I was saying. Edgar kind of skying this one. Not sure if that was the height he intended on giving that one, but he should end up in a fine spot, so not really anything to complain about too much. Joseph giving this one a lot of height. And I decided to zoom in and miss the shot almost entirely because it was hard to follow. In my defense, it was very sunny, and I was having a tough time looking at that. Not to excuse the terrible cameramanship, you know. Ooh, Ryan putting a nice line on this one. Not enough flip, though. He'll end up really far to the left. Here we go with Joseph. Apparently that one turned way over. I'm surprised he didn't go with his forehand on this shot. He has a very good forehand. He'll end up in a pretty good spot. Ryan also opting for the backhand. Getting some great ground play there. That should be pretty good. Here we've got Kyle. Barely giving me time to get set up here. Yeah, with another good shot. Jacob opting for the forehand, playing that wide hyzer line. And that should be a good spot. Here we've got Edgar, who is not OB, thank goodness. Also playing the forehand hyzer shot. Leaving that one a little too wide. Ooh, Joseph kind of airing that one out a bit too much. He'll have a 15-footer comeback. Kyle, too much on the left side. Didn't quite commit to that center shot. Here we've got Joseph from probably 15 feet. Good cleanup from him. Here we've got Ryan for his 3. Well, I said Edgar had put this too wide, but the camera played tricks on my eyes because he is absolutely parked. And taps in his rightfully earned 3. And Jacob Henson to follow suit here. And Kyle to tap in his par. And here we are at hole 13, par 3, 256 feet. Hole 13 playing almost a quarter of a stroke under par, 2.81 average. We've got this Mando tree you've got to get to the left of, and astute viewers will notice there's a tree missing. Unfortunately, they had to remove that tree in between when they filmed the drone flyover and the tournament, so the hole opens up a little bit more for the hyzer forehand, as Jacob Henson just demonstrates, but I wouldn't say it's made it significantly easier. Edgar playing the skip shot, unfortunately getting denied by this grass that is super thick and sticky. In the background you can hear the sound of nature. Ryan with some oomph on this one. Played that very well. Should have himself a great look at the 2. Kyle spiking into that sticky grass and a bit long of the basket too. And here we have another lefty friendly hole with just a simple backhand lefty hyzer. Also playing that skip shot, but unfortunately the grass, like I said, very thick and very sticky. Here we've got Edgar from his drive. Much closer than when he sunk it from like 80 feet during the Starkville Christmas Classic. Oh, just a little low and left from him. Not able to repeat his amazing performance from earlier in the year, or was it last year? Must have been last year. Ooh, Joseph airing that one out left side. Here we have Jacob Henson from right about where Edgar was during the Christmas Classic. Giving that one a valiant effort, but just coming up a bit left side. Kyle for his chance at the birdie. Oh, also airing that one a bit too much to the side. And we finally get to Ryan's drive. And he has earned that too with that great tee shot and takes a stroke on the card. Put himself at 1 down. Unfortunately, 4 back from the current leader on the card, Jacob. Edgar cleaning up his par. Joseph nice and center for his par, and I suspect we shall see the rest of our card do the same. And we arrive at hole 14, par 3, 286 feet. This hole playing pretty difficult actually, a 2.91 average, so slightly under par, but not enough to really matter. Here we've got Ryan opening us up with the backhand hyzer. We have this OB ditch here, so all the rocks, so anything left of the rocks from the right side, anything right of the rocks on the left side is OB. So Ryan opening us with that backhand hyzer. Here's Jacob with the lefty, the forehand hyzer over the walking path. And I believe the walking path is OB, so anything left of the walking path as well. A walking path and left, excuse me. Words are hard. Edgar with this huge hyzer here. Boom, right around the basket. Great shot from Edgar. Kyle with this very high forehand hyzer. Oh my goodness, almost getting at the basket. Skipping a little bit. Thankfully the grass is sticky, so not skipping too far. Joseph also playing the hyzer line, coming up a bit too far to the right. He'll have a tester putt for the 2, but an easy 3. Probably 25 or so feet for him. Oh, hitting chains, but not enough to stick. He'll have probably a 10 or 15 footer for the birdie coming back. Excuse me, for the 3. Oh, and Kyle extremely low out of the hand. He is not too happy about that one. Joseph cleaning up his 3. Ryan with the 2, making it look effortless. Edgar with the tap in, Jacob with the tap in, and Kyle to finish us out with his par. And we meet hole 15, par 3, 245 feet. Hole 15 playing an average of 2.63, so almost a half a stroke under par. We have an OB walking path to the left, but no other OB on this hole, so kind of a dealer's choice here. We've got a lot of different gaps to hit, but if you just pick one and stick to it, you should be in a pretty good spot. And this ground is extremely fast, you would say, and so you'll get a lot of skip. Ryan playing with that ceiling, unfortunately getting knocked down a bit. Should have a look at the birdie, but not an ideal situation. Jacob opting for this left-hand side, playing for the skip and getting a great result from it. Looks like Edgar also lining up the forehand. Playing this low skip shot. Oh, trying to ace it. Definitely put the mustard on that one, as they say. I guess they don't really say that. They usually say that for like a really big shot. Kyle also playing for that skip. Getting a lot of skip. This ground playing super fast compared to the grass. Joseph kind of playing a little too left. Unfortunately getting that tree, which everybody else missed. Kyle got pretty close on his shot. Joseph from probably 40 feet here. Throwing it way over the basket. He'll have probably 25 feet to come back. Here we've got Ryan from a very similar distance. Oh, hitting the top. Great commitment on that one. Back to Joseph again. Very strange miss from him. I'm not really sure what was going on here. Just not committing enough to the putt. Worried about the comebacker, I'm assuming. Take a small break to let Kyle putt for his 2, which he does so very well. And we're back to Joseph, who is putting for a 5 now. Finally cleans that one up, but that was a very strange occurrence there on that putting green. Jacob tapping in his 2, Edgar tapping in his 2, and Ryan to finish with the par. #16, par 4, 597 feet. We have this OB ditch, which is now on the top right of the screen. We have that OB walking path, which is also on the right of the screen, and no other OB. I don't believe this drainage area played as OB. I think it's only the walking path, but basically we've off the tee we've got a righty hyzer to just kind of land just past that the forest there on the left. Jacob playing that nice spike hyzer line in and up nice and to the left. That will open up the shot a bit. The closer you get to the basket, the easier, obviously. Ideally, you want to land just past that line of evergreen trees, but that is really flirting with that OB ditch. Edgar kind of flirting with those trees on the left, but I think he got pretty far through there, so should be all right. I believe this is Kyle's Firebird, so he should be in a decent spot if he got through all those trees on the left. And we've got Ryan, excuse me. That looks like it came up a little bit early. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Joseph, really early release on that one. And here he is. He landed in the thick of it. And as you see, we spent probably 15 minutes looking for this thing. He finally found it and just had to pitch out, which is really unfortunate. Ryan definitely coming in really, really early on these trees, but with a pitch or with a straddle forehand here. Joseph airing this one out. And unfortunately finishing way to the right, which I didn't follow with the camera because I'm a terrible camera operator. I apologize. Always looking to improve. Here we've got Edgar playing that flex forehand. Should land in a pretty decent spot. And here we see Jacob landing kind of in these evergreen trees. Not the ideal spot that you'd like to be. That really obstructs your footing. Hole 16 playing .06 over par, so definitely not a gimme, and definitely one you are happy taking away a par on. Jacob coming up pretty short on that approach. Give himself a look at the 3, but I would say an easy par from there. Kyle opting for the huge spike hyzer line. Coming up very short. Definitely not happy with that result. Ryan with another flex forehand. Kind of giving that a run. He'll have a pretty good look at the 4 from there. Edgar with his look at the 3. Definitely a committed run. Hard to get the power for that distance. Joseph trying to make some fireworks happen. Unfortunately, not going to happen for him. Kyle giving that a nice soft run. He will have a tap in 4 from there. Ooh, a little too low for Jacob. Edgar cleans up the par. Ryan from a similar distance, but a little bit more downhill. Follows suit nicely. Jacob tapping in his par. Kyle to do the same, and Joseph with the double bogey. Here we are on hole 17, par 3, 299 feet. No OB really to speak of. The road goes without saying, but no other OB, no other marked lines or anything like that. So we've just got this pretty open shot to get to the basket. You really just want to be outside of those crepe myrtles, and you don't want to swing it out too wide to the right and get in any of these trees. So Jacob really playing it as God intended. Nice hyzer line. Hopefully didn't skip into those crepe myrtles, but it should be fine. Hole 17 playing an average of 2.59, so definitely one our pros want to be getting. Edgar with a little too much hyzer angle. Nope, nice flip up. That should be fine. From out of his hand, it almost looked like it was going to be fading really early left, but put some juice on that one and got it to fly just right. And by just right, I mean just right as he intended. I want to say this is a solstice from Kyle. I could be wrong. Definitely some stable mid-range looking thing. Coming up very early left. He will be obstructed by those crepe myrtles, so he'll have to do some work for that too. Ryan smoothing this one out there. Also coming up a bit left. Hopefully got through those crepe myrtles. Joseph opting for the forehand, flexing it out a bit, but coming up nice and left, so should have a look at it. And here you see Kyle having to just straddle around this tree. Unfortunately, swinging that one a bit too wide. And Ryan just having to lay up, essentially. Kyle making good on his par save. Joseph with his bounce back birdie. And he makes good on it. No putting woes over here. Jacob with his amazing shot for the 2. Bullseye hit. Just pad those C1X stats. Edgar to do the same. And Ryan to tap in his par. And we finally reach hole 18, par 3, 395 feet. Hole 18 playing an average of a 2.84, so not a gimme, I would say. You're happy with par, but you're really fighting for that 2. We've got this OB parking lot here to the left, and no other OB to speak of. Jacob Henson to start us off. Playing a really wide hyzer here. That should be pin high, so that's amazing distance for how high up that was. Guy's got to be careful. He could overthrow the basket by 200 feet. Edgar playing the much more human hyzer throw. And getting caught up by that sticky grass. Joseph talking about throwing the roller here. Opts for this Cervini play. Nice backhand turnover for him. Coming up just short of that OB line. Should be a 25-footer or so. Kyle playing this flatter shot here. And leaving himself with a 20-footer or so. And Ryan just smoothing this one out here. This was a great looking shot. He'll put himself in that magical 20-something foot range. Here we've got Edgar. Much wider than I thought he would be. This is somewhere around 40 feet, 30, 40 feet. Somebody talking right as he was in his stance. Oh, coming up just a little bit short there. Ryan overcommitted, coming up too high on that one. Joseph just coming a little too much on the right-hand side. Great commitment, great line, just a little too low and right. And then Kyle making the opposite mistake, low left side. I'm not sure what magic is going on, what voodoo hex curse has been placed on this basket, but nobody wants to be making it in for birdie, apparently. Oh, great line from Jacob. Just sliding over the top of it. Kyle tapping in the 3. Joseph to do the same. I'm sure these guys just want to get out of here, get some food, get ready for that second round, make a comeback. Not Jacob, though. Jacob at this point tied for first. And remains tied for first with an amazing 8 down. Edgar not too shabby himself with a 7 down. Ryan kind of slow with a 2 down, and Joseph unfortunately with the 1 up. Huge thank you to William Pochop for the coverage, and a huge thank you to you all for watching. If you want to support me on Patreon, I've got a link in the description. Otherwise, I'll see you soon. And if you're in the area and you're interested in what's going on, check out the Starkville Disc Golf Instagram page.